Previously on Reel's Reaction, we're talking about the Obi-Wan Kenobi show and some embarrassing stuff happened. Now here's part 2 of my thoughts and review.
Should have killed me when you had the chance.
Yeah, probably. But then we wouldn't have all those movies. Hello and welcome to Reel's Reaction with Brandon Pacheco from Greenlight Cinema. I just finished watching Obi-Wan part 3. I don't know if they're calling it episode 3 or part 3, but whoa! Cut to we see Third Sister is her name, talking to Darth Vader in his lava castle. I believe that's a Ralph McQuarrie design. So it's very, stylistically, it looks very neat. This had a lot of Empire looks to it with Vader's mask and like how like redwood and like the fog and everything. So I guess they're trying to say like the lava and Han and carbonite, it's all kind of like stylistically looks kind of the same, and it did, the colors and everything. It was very interesting. We see Darth Vader tells Third Sister that if she needs to find Obi-Wan, and if she doesn't find if she finds Obi-Wan, she'll get the promotion she seeks, which I think I kind of predicted that. I think I brought that up in the Obi-Wan Part 2 Reel's Reaction episode, that I thought she was trying to work her way up the ladder, so to speak. And Vader promises her, like, oh, you'll get what you want and everything, but you gotta bring me Obi-Wan, or if you don't, you're gonna die. And so she's like, look, guys, she tells the other Inquisitors, I believe that's their name, what the deal is. And one guy's like, I don't think so. And, but how did you know any of this anyway? And she's like, well, because Darth Vader himself told me. And they're like, oh, let's send out them drones then. And it's the probe droids. And while Leia and Frack and Ben, I'm going to call him Ben to shorten it a little bit. So Ben and Leia are on Frack's little transport. He tells, hey, look at those characters right there. And so the stormtroopers listen to this Frack guy. He's even waving an Imperial flag. He's like, nothing wrong with a little order. And everything at this point, I will say, if people were saying this was clunky, it really was. There was moments where there are a little bit of tension, but it's nothing like too big. But it was a little borderline, like they're spelling it. It's so on the nose, they're just spelling it out. This guy obviously doesn't buy Ben and Leia's story. So he's going to talk in a voice that you make sure you, the audience, children and kid adults, get. More or less, it felt like. So, I don't know. He got on my nerves. Seth Rogen, Frack. I don't know who done his voice. Just saying the guy sounds like Seth Rogen. So Frack gets these stormtroopers, and I'm not sure why Obi-Wan just did not, like, you don't have to bother me and Leia, or whatever our cover name is. Why he didn't do that, I'm not sure. And, the whole blaster thing came in handy for him because he kicked a whole bunch of stormtroopers like butts. And then he goes and meets some more stormtroopers. Then he meets the rebel spy lady. I guess she is a rebel or something. She gave us a little story, but it was so... You don't really need to focus on her too much. But she's their way out. And she's like, wearing like a Imperial costume and everything. So, and she's wearing a disguise, and like why she doesn't wear this the whole time. I guess it would defeat the purpose with the Inquisitors and Darth Vader being there, where they just can like extract information out of people. So the Inquisitors, they all, from the probe droid that's seen Obi-Wan kicking a whole bunch of stormtroopers' butts, they find out Kenobi's whereabouts, And so they send the Inquisitors along with Darth Vader. Darth Vader shows up, makes a complete spectacle of himself by showing off all his powers and, hey, look what I can do, and hey, Obi-Wan, I bet me torturing these people are gonna make you come out and say, "Stop, Anakin, no!" But he actually doesn't. He just watches. And I'm like, I wrote this down in my notes. Like, I think, spoilers if you hadn't seen this already, you should watch it. They could have just escaped. Obi-Wan and like Leia, when he started feeling Darth Vader's presence, that would have been his time with Leia to go beat it off this planet, right? Like, just go, pew, take off. But no, he's like, you go take the girl. Make sure she's safe. Make sure Leia's safe. And Obi-Wan is like, go. And I don't know why. And they show him just like running out in this like, kind of field. It's this little planet at nighttime looks very similar to the, I'm not sure if they ever told us what planet that was in The Force Awakens in the very beginning, because there's like the flame troopers and stuff like that. All this comes into play. I was really invested in the fight scene. That I did actually record my reaction to. It was actually not as bad as like the internet made it sound. Like, I'm like, wait, what's worse here? The frack scene or the scene with Darth Vader and Obi-Wan reuniting? And I was fine with everything. Obi-Wan's powers are now as we know in A New Hope, is the quickest way I can really say this. And I'm fine with that. He's shut himself off from the Force. He hasn't had the continuous training Anakin or Darth Vader's had. So, he really just is like getting his butt whooped by Darth Vader. But I did get a little bored. Now here's where it gets real weird. And I guess this is probably where people are like, oh my gosh, what happened? So, Obi-Wan has this line. He's like, "My gosh, what are you?" And Vader replies, "You made me this way," and starts a fire right in front of Obi-Wan. Oh no, he starts choking Obi-Wan first, and then he starts a fire and throws Obi-Wan in the fire, and it's not fun to look at. It's real weird, but I mean, I guess this has kind of been his thing for a while. Obi-Wan gets rescued by a loader robot or something like that, and Darth Vader like looks at this thing, and then like flames shoot out, and he like backs up. I thought that was funny. Like, he's like, you know what? I'm not messing with this fire. I've had enough with fire. Why is he living in a lava castle? I don't know. I guess because it looks cool and it's Ralph McQuarrie artwork from, back in the day. I heard originally in Empire Strikes Back that Vader was supposed to have like a lava castle. So I'm okay with that. And it's in Rogue One. And Rogue One's amazing. It's the best Star Wars movie ever made according to the Rotten Tomatoes scores. So Obi-Wan gets his butt kicked by Darth Vader. And I guess, I'm not trying to make a joke, but I guess that's why he looks older-ish, is because this fight scarred him probably, I guess. I mean, he was in fire, not as long as Anakin was, but like, and I don't know how he didn't, I don't know. All this is so bizarre and interesting. Like, oh my gosh, I felt like this episode was great. But thank you guys for watching. And thank you for your support. And please keep watching the next Reels reaction. And this is Obi-Wan Kenobi, leaving you with this message. May the Force be with you, always.